Hi everyone, this is Damien, and for some reason the lighting is really awful right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and record this as it is. I wanted to address some things that have been coming up in the comment sections of my videos. I have received a lot of comments that are really abusive and really out there, and some of them have specifically centered around certain things that have come up multiple times, so I wanted to address those things specifically. The first thing that has been coming up a lot is that people have been accusing me of deleting any comments that profess disbelief of my testimony. That is completely not true. If you look at the comment sections of many of my videos, you will find comments that profess disbelief. I do, however, receive a lot of comments professing disbelief that are also verbally assaultive and or contain lots of trigger words that I think may be intentionally placed to activate me or other mind control victims. I am not going to keep those comments up most of the time. I have actually kept some in order to address them or for various other reasons, mainly because my intuition tells me to, but most of the time, I try to delete comments like that. If you do not believe my testimony, I will not delete you for saying so in the comment section. In fact, I invite people who do not believe my testimony to talk about it, but what I ask you to do is to talk about it respectfully. If you are going to verbally abuse me or others, if you are going to talk about me like I am subhuman, and if you're going to try to rally people against me by insisting that I'm lying, if you're going to use lots of caps, again, any kind of name calling, any kind of what looks like intentional triggering, I'm going to delete you. And I'm going to block you most of the time if I see it. So just please know that ahead of time. I'm not banning people from talking about their honest opinions of me if they are negative. I'm asking people to talk to me and about me like I am an actual human being. That's all. The next thing that has been coming up is on my testimony about seeing child exploitation images of myself. I know I've spoken about that more than once on here, but my main testimony about that has been receiving some really sick and abusive comments, talking down to me like I'm a small child. I'm thinking of one in particular, but I've received others as well, claiming that it would be physically impossible for someone to snap someone else's neck, and or it would have been physically impossible for me to have snapped another child's neck as a child. That is just not true. That is just absolutely blatantly not true. Not only is it possible to snap someone's neck, but it is possible for children to snap other children's necks, specifically when given the right direction and training. And I'm not saying it couldn't happen spontaneously on its own, but I was trained to kill. I was forced to kill, I was taught how to kill, and I was specifically programmed through the Delta program, which enables people to use what some would call superhuman strength. The Delta program makes it possible to harness the level of adrenaline that it would take for a woman to throw a car off of her baby at the programmer's command. If people in adrenaline rushes can throw cars to save their children, then is it really hard to believe that somebody in an intentionally created adrenaline rush, sorry to trip on my words, in an intentionally created adrenaline rush could snap another person's neck? You know, God, I'm glitching. I'm sorry. I'm getting really triggered. stupid flashing red dot on my screen is bothering me, and talking about this is making my head spin. So I'm going to move on from this and try to breathe because I'm starting to glitch out. Okay. Switching states and collecting myself here. Another thing that's less extreme but still painful that has come up a lot on here is people comparing me to a particular television character whose name I'm not going to name because I don't want to activate anybody. But I will say that to those who have had negative things to say about me in relation to this character, I would like you all to know that I shaved my head in 2014 for the first time. I grew my hair out here and there since, but I first did this 4 years ago. The TV show whose character I've been compared to so much was created 2 years ago, in 2016. And I'm not saying that there was not planning done for that show beforehand, and that I somehow could not have had any connection to it. I have not, to my knowledge, had connection to it. But what I'm trying to say is people are making way too big a deal of my hair. I would like to remind everyone that women have had short hair for a long time throughout history. This was not something invented by this particular TV show. And I think the reason why people are comparing me specifically to this character, and by people, I mean people other than the actual shills who are using it to trigger others, because I think that's some of what's going on, but those who are simply making this connection, I think a lot of it has to do not with my looks, but with the subject matter. I have not watched a lot of this particular TV show that I can recall. I know that I was programmed to it, and I have bits and pieces of memories of that, but I don't know a lot about it. What I do know is that it is heavily influenced by MKUltra. Its themes are extremely MKUltra. And so, as an MKUltra survivor, I'm not surprised that I'm being compared to a character from it. And I'm not sharing this to chastise anyone who has commented this in sincerity. Honestly, I wanted to make a video specifically about this, but decided to incorporate it into this video here, in which I spoke directly to people who are getting triggered by looking at me and listening to my testimonies, and are getting fixated on how much I remind them of this TV character. For those of you who are experiencing this, I would just like to say that I understand and empathize with becoming dissociated and lost in sort of dream world, so to speak, in which television seems more real than real life. That's a huge part of mind control programming, is to make people think that fantasy is reality and the other way around. And, well, I've done a lot to understand what happened to me and get grounded in reality, so I don't want people to take anything I just said as ammunition to discredit anything I've said about my experiences. I've done a lot of deprogramming. I do want to say that I understand being lost in a dream world and getting fixated on TV characters. So if that's something that you're experiencing, I just want you to know that you have my empathy, and also I honestly think that it might be best for you to put my channel aside and probably put television aside and do some kind of deprogramming of your own. You know, I talk about deprogramming in the trauma-based mind control sense a lot, as that is the focus of my work, but most people have been subjected to some form of mind control. And I think we could all benefit from examining that, from putting away mainstream television and really looking at oneself. Okay, I'm super triggered. What was the last thing I wanted to say. Oh yeah, people have continued to claim that my videos are scripted and that makes me not credible. I've already addressed this, so I'm not going to address that again here. But if that's something you think or are commenting, I really encourage you to look through more of my videos because I have addressed this. I do not script my videos in the normal sense of the word. And you know what? I'm not actually going to say any more about that right now. I am going to actually leave you to do your own research, look for that information, and then draw conclusions from there. Okay, that's all I've got for this video. I don't know how many people will have actually enjoyed watching this because it's really only for a select few, but honestly, I just felt the need to say these things to get this stuff off my chest. There's so much more stuff people have been attacking me over, but these are the main things that are on my mind right now. Okay, thanks.